Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again with another the series that we call First Look. That's the first time that we see a new power station, and we always bring it to the attention of all the subscriber family. So this one is called Oupes or Oupes or however it's called. We call it Oupes. The Exodus 1200. So I was going to look at the whole specs of this system and just kind of see what this has to offer that's maybe unique or different than all the rest of the power stations on these, on the market, so far. Looking at the system, it kind of looks like a mix between the Mega 2 and a Bluetti system, because Bluetti has that same kind of ring in the middle for the screen. So it has a very Bluetti-ish looking screen. But like I said, the Mega 2 that we have looks the same with the screen. So I don't know who copied who there, but that looks pretty much as probably 3 or 4 of the systems that we already have with the Bluetti and the Oupes Mega 2. Now this is one that's going to be out in about 2 days, 13 hours, 29 minutes, and exactly 20 whatever seconds, because it keeps going down. But the launch date is for this one is January 15th, and then it says here if you subscribe for 50% off. So I don't think there's a price yet, and you never know about the sales, because is it 50% off what they're selling it for? Is it 50% off the suggested retail price, the manufacturer, you know what I mean, the MSRP? So without an update on that, we have no idea what to expect on the price, other than it's 50% of what they say it's going to be. So we have to wait to, kind of see that. Okay, so let's look into the specs right away. For the system, let's start here. This I like a lot, and this caught my eye as soon as I opened the page, that this has a dual 140 watt USB-C. Now I know that most power stations come out at 100 watts, but this one actually has, if you look very close at the system up here, it's hard to see, there'll be hopefully bigger pictures down there, but there's 2 USB-A's right here, and then there's 2 USB-C power deliveries, 140 watts a piece right in the middle. That I like a lot, because out of all the power stations that we have, I think we have about 30 right now, counting all the batteries and whatnot. I think the highest one that we have puts out only 100 watts. Now, I'm a huge fan of USB technology, because that is a very, very small cable that you could put in your pocket, carry anywhere, and have now up to 140 watts times 2, it says. That's 280 watts that you could literally, with these little cables you put in your pocket, and have 280 watts come out of a system like that. That's cool. So you don't have to bring big bulky cables or extra bags for all this extra stuff. You bring the power station, 2 little USB cables, and you're done. There are special cables though, and I don't know if the 140 watts are any more special than the 100 watt cables. That I have to learn and see if there's any difference of that. If you guys already know if there's a special cable, it's probably just a new protocol that ups the voltage, I'm assuming, but we don't know, like I said, until we actually see a product or anything like that. Okay, it has LFP battery. Now that stands for lithium iron phosphate. We are huge fans of that here. It's a little bit heavier than LiPo, which is lithium ion batteries. However, the cycle span or the lifespan and the cycle count is much higher, and the chemistry is much safer than lithium ion. So lithium ion is very nice. However, it's volatile. So if you remember all your DeWalt tools, they have lithium ion stuff, and if they get punctured, you can have some problems. That being said, I've never had a problem with any lithium ion battery ever, but I have seen videos that if they ever get punctured, they turn into what's called, what we coined here, the blowtorch from hell, which means a thermal runaway that will not stop until the chemicals are extinguished inside the battery pack. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like oxygen to a fire. The more oxygen you add to a fire, the more fire you're going to have. And my heart goes out to all the people in California right now. My heart literally goes out to them. Be safe out there, guys. Okay, the capacity is 992 watt hours. Okay, so this is what I would deem our category, which is pretty similar to, let's see, what else do I have that's 1,000 watts? I have, everything I have is usually from about 768 or less to about 1,500 or more. So I don't think I have a single 1,000. The closest thing that I have to this system would be the Bluetti AC70, and that's only a 768 watt hours, so a little bit smaller than this. This also has a boost technology, which is a boost mode. Now, if that's anything like the Bluetti's powerlifting, I hate it. I literally don't like it, because how that works, if this is the same now, I won't know till I see the system, and the Oupes that I have doesn't have that boost technology. What it does is it drops the voltage of it of the actual draw, so the amperage goes up. You know what I mean? So you're creating much more heat and much more instability, and it's usually designed for, I forget what they call it, non-resistive load, I think it's called, like a heater or a hot plate or something like that, hair dryer, you know, stuff that just kind of has a heater kind of element or a light element in it, and no motors or compressors. And I believe that's what this is, but I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll say something in here that we can look at. Intuitive LCD screen, like I said, this looks identical to the Mega 2 to me, and it looks identical or very similar to the Bluetti systems. We have oh my gosh, we got the 1, 2, 3. We got 4 Bluetti systems here, and 5. Yeah, we have 5. Sorry, 2 AC2As, 1 EB3A, 1 X20, like that one, and then an AC70. So I think that's 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 5. I think that's all of them. Who knows, guys? We got a lot of power stations here. This is literally an addictive hobby. It really is. It's catchy. Okay, so let's see here. You got 1200 watts of output, and then this is the boost mode, which like I said, it probably drops that voltage and ups the amperage, which is not good for. And notice that everything here, like this has a motor in it, and notice that that's not listed over here in the bumper, because how you can know this or test this is if you run, which I don't recommend, guys. I do not recommend this. But if you were to have, I learned this the hard way many years ago. If you run a microwave or something with a compressor, like a fridge or freezer, on an extension cord, the voltage drop, which is called voltage sag, I guess, that goes down, and you hear the motor or the compressor kind of struggling. You know what I mean? Like the microwave made a strange sound, and the compressor kind of, you could just hear it. It's working harder than it should. So that's a big thing with voltage, and it could be very dangerous, because remember, higher amperage causes more heat, which has more possibility of a fire. So you know about here. Here you go. You got fast dual charging in 72 minutes. Now remember, that's only to 80%. I personally do not like, I call this the Apple technique. If you remember, Apple iPod came out with the 0 to 80 in whatever minutes. I don't like that. Give me the whole amount, because that last 20% could take anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour, depending on the system and the input. You know, so I want the actual numbers for the entire empty to full, so I can, you know, plan my day accordingly. Otherwise, you get to that 80%, and the charging might slow down because it has to. It doesn't want to overpower the batteries, right? Like when you pour the soda into the cup, you know, the bubbles, they go over the top of the cup, so you have to slow down your pour. That's the energy going into a battery. So 0 to 80%, and that's why it has this asterisk here for 72 minutes. So it does say dual charging. I only see one form of charging, so I'm going to assume the other one is solar or a generator or something like that. So I was hoping that these USB-Cs were any outies. That's what I call them. That's an input-output power delivery port, where you can actually put up to, on this system, 140 watts, in that one 140 watts, but I don't think you can, because it didn't say that on this system. But we do have older systems that have that, and I like that feature. I don't know, maybe I'm different, but I like that feature. USB is a great technology because it's so light and easy to carry. The cords are almost nothing. Like you roll up, like I said, if you roll up a USB cable, man, it's nothing. You put it in your pocket, you don't even forget it's in there. It's nothing. Which also means it's easier to lose, though, so there's a drawback with that. Okay, so ultra portable at 23.15 pounds. That seems right for lithium iron phosphate, because all the systems, and we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have five systems that are in the 2 kilowatt range, and those are about 47 pounds, 48 pounds, sometimes even 50. So half of that would be, you know, approximately 23 to 25 pounds. So that seems right. Here's your EPS switch in 0.02 seconds. Guys, I don't even know what that means. I've never heard it before. I have to research that. An EPS, guys, if you know what an EPS is, leave it in the comments. You know, this is a channel where we learn too. We make videos because we want to learn stuff. as well as help other people find this stuff and learn about it too. This is, that's what the Scriber family is. It's a team. It's a team of all of us trying to figure out what will work best for all of us, because we're all different. We have different needs and different wants, and that's just what it is. Okay, smart app control. I gotta be honest, with the Oupes system, we do have some bugs with the Oupes system, and I wish it was like Bluetti's, where Bluetti, you can use their system 100% offline, no registration, no mail-in, no nothing, just through Bluetooth. That is my favorite system right now. I don't know if EcoFlow has the same thing, because we don't have anything from EcoFlow yet, and I've been trying to connect with that company. We're an affiliate of EcoFlow, but we don't have any systems of EcoFlow yet. I would love to start testing EcoFlow stuff, because I heard it's really, really top of the line stuff, but that's only going off other reviews and stuff. Okay, so here you go. Watch the video, which we're not going to do. Here's that subscribe for 50% off. As we said, we don't know what the price is, so how do you know what 50% off of what is? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I sold that and I said this is a $5,000 system, so 50% off is $2,500. You go, wow, that's expensive. So if we don't have a starting point, we don't know 50% off what. So we have to wait for that. There is almost 5,000 people now that are interested, which means they signed up and they did their this up here. You put your email probably. So it does have a little bit of a following, and this is launching January 15th. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. So we got camping. Look at this big muscle guy here. He's ready with the family. He's doing some camping here, and he's making toast. So, so he's making toast next to a lake, and I love these pictures, guys. If I was camping, I don't think I would bring a toaster. That's just me, But I love these pictures because they're so random, Everyone looks confused and nobody's eating anything, and there's no toast or bread on the table. So I love these pictures, guys. I'm sorry, they make me laugh. Okay, so here's kind of an idea, and remember, this is a rough idea. This is what's known as a guesstimate. There's in college they call it an educated guess, which is shortened to guesstimate, which means being of the knowledge that we have in the past for the percentage of like the efficiency and all that stuff. You can make an educated guess of what to expect off a battery or a battery cell or something like that. So these are your numbers here just to kind of give you an idea. So 0.7 hours is an electric grill, which that you'd have to cook pretty quick though. That's a little bit over a half an hour, so you got to really get in there and get it done. But I recommend running 1200. I always try, this is something that I do, guys, and you don't have to do it, but I always try to stay within 50% of the draw power of a system. It's just something I like. It's similar to me as a car. If you get in your car and you push the gas pedal all the way to the ground, you're forcing the car to work at full capacity. That's probably not a good idea. I probably guarantee it's not a good idea. So, but if you ran it, say it's a 100-mile-an-hour car, on average or whatever, and you ran it at 50 miles an hour all the time, it probably will last much longer. I think that's just kind of common sense of anything, whether it's mechanical or electronic. If you don't put the pressure on a system, think of your body. You could probably run longer as jogging than you can at full speed, right? Because your body gets burnt out so quick, and the older we get, boy, the less that 50-yard sprint turns into, hey, taxi, can I get a ride? You know what I mean? So this is a cool little picture here. I love the animations that some of the companies make, because it kind of, I know it's space agey. I like that. I'm an animator by hobby. I like making production stuff and animations. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so it says whether camping, road tripping, or facing power outages, the 1500 watt boost mode ensures that you can run high demand appliances without compromise. I would like to know, look at the surge, guys, 3600. That's a big surge. Holy cow, I'd love to test that. That's a lot of power for a little power station like that. I would like to know if this mode does drop the voltage, or they have a new way of upping the power somehow. I think there was something I missed up here. Did I miss something? Oh yeah, here, road trip. Is it loading? Okay, so road trip's not there. That's an empty page. Backup power, okay, and power tools. Oh, power tools is there. Okay. Oh, there it is. Look at this, guys. Okay, so here's Muscle Man again, and he's got the solar panel. Hopefully, he's not going to keep it that way, guys, because obviously, if you cover up part of the solar panel, it doesn't work. So, like I said, I love these pictures because they're so random. They're so random, and I would not recommend putting a blanket next to anything that gets hot. Just common sense, I think. But I love these pictures. I really do. Let me shrink the screen a little bit here so I can put a little bit more. There you go. Okay, so go to Acopower. Here's a lady in the kitchen, and she's running her little tablet here. Looks like an iTablet or iPad, I think they're called. And she's ready to make some lunch probably here and enjoy her day. And then that kind of gives you an idea of how long, once again, that you could run stuff for. See, 12 hours for a CPAP machine. Guys, that would get you through the night. But if you're going to run something as important as a CPAP, do yourself a favor. Get something bigger, because CPAP is no joke. These people that have that issue when they're sleeping, and that can really run in a bad way. So double your power of what you need, and that way you have backup power just in case. Just in case. You always want to have a backup plan, especially when it comes to something like your health. I think that you only get one health in life. You know what I mean? And if you're lucky, you might get two. So let's see the power tools here. Okay, now he's using a big old angle grinder here, and he's going to town. It looks like he's going down on some copper here, aluminum or something. I bet you that's loud as a dog. I used to work in a trade as a mechanical insulator, guys, and the sounds that come off of these equipments, holy cow! Earplugs don't even help, you know. So here you got your power drill at about 0.7 hours. Here's a half an hour for a power saw. So, like I said, something that you're going to draw that heavy on, guys, do yourself a favor. Get like a 2 or 3,000 watt, so you can get a job done. Because if you take something like this to a job site and you're using these big tools and you make a mistake on the job, guess what? You got no extra battery backup to fix or rectify the problem. You know what I mean? Or recut something, or regrind something. If you're out of power, you're out of power. You gotta wait for it to charge. You gotta wait for the sun to come up. All this other stuff. Like, there's been many times where we showed up at a building where there's no electricity. If I had this technology back in the days, right? All I remember having is, if you guys remember the buddy heater, and you take those little 1 pound propane tanks and you kind of stick that in a room in a building that has nothing, no sewer yet, other than a drain, but there's nothing in there, no water, no electric, no nothing. It's just an empty building, and then we go in there and we would help hang tin or electric, or whatever needs to be done as a general contractor kind of person. Or whatever in there. But we used to take that little buddy heater, and we could heat up the entire room and put plastic over some of the windows and keep the heat in there. So we like the buddy heater. But being in the room with this stuff, guys, I don't recommend anybody do that, man. Your ears just get goofy after a while. It gets so loud. Okay, so let's see what else we got. Now here's this is, like I said, my favorite part that I saw so far. For the most part, this looks like a pretty average power station. Other than this 140, which I'm very interested in. I like that. I heard they could get up to 240 watts out of a USB, and I don't have anything. Like I said, the 100 is the best I have, and I love that. So if I could get that to 140 or 240, oh man, I'm all in. I'm all in. Okay, it says supercharge your pro devices with 140 watt USB-C. Yeah, buddy, I like that. Bring your professional gear outdoors without compromise. What they're referring to as professional gears, guys, is projectors, laptops, cameras, things like that. If you're a photographer, all that kind of professional gear, where you have kind of high-end stuff. Maybe you're a drone pilot, and you're taking pictures for real estate or property or something like that, boats or lakes or geographical, whatever you're doing. That's what they mean by professional gear, if you will, or hiking stuff. A lot of professional gear with hiking stuff, but usually it's electronics. Like, here's your tablet. You could sit up in the middle of nowhere and on the side of a mountain and use a power station and shop on eBay. You know what I mean? So this technology is awesome, guys. It really is. Let's see here. Effortless high-speed charging. Okay, so now we're getting to the charging aspect of it. So it only has one input here, so hopefully it'll tell you more about it. It says experience rapid charging with the Exodus 1200, supporting up to 840 watts. Now notice it says AC and PV. I believe that stands for, I can never say it right, I think it's photovoltaic. The short term of that, or layman's term, is solar panel. So that's between the AC, hence the grid or generator, and solar panel there, to fully charge it in just 72 minutes. And that now it says fully charge it, not to 80%. It says fully. So we'll read this down here in a minute, because there's always an asterisk after the charging thing, which is always interesting. Making it 24% faster than other products. The industry average, according to this, says 95 minutes for this size of a system. I think my AC70 charges faster, but it's a smaller battery pack by about at least 230 watt hours, so I can't really compare. But that's the only thing I can kind of compare it to, because I don't have anything in the one 1000 or the 1 kilowatt hour power station range. It says AC charging here is up to 600 watts. So the most that you could drag from a wall or the grid or a generator, if this is hooked to a generator. And if you put it to a generator, do yourself a favor, get one with a pure sine inverter. It just runs better. If you get one that's all over the place, you know, like a box wave or something that's very, very, like an old car, you know what I mean? It doesn't run good. So your voltage is going to go up and down on your output, and that's really going to affect your charging. It says here to slow charging at 300 watts. I like that. Now, one big thing with Oupes is that you can adjust the charging rate, so that way if you want to keep the battery cells better longer, charge it slower. If you're not in a hurry, what's the hurry, right? If you're charging it while you're just wasting time, slow it down. What's the hurry? You're putting strain on the battery for no reason. So it's kind of like your car. If you're not late to work, why would you speed? Right? There's no point. You're putting extra, pain and suffering on your engine for no reason. You're not late. Take your time, right? I think it's a good way of life when it comes to batteries. Slow down, they last better, and requires the app to switch the charging. Okay, so in the app, it'll probably have a button where you can change it from 300 to 600. Some of their systems, I believe it's Oupes. I might be getting confused now because, like I said, we have so many now. You really get confused sometimes. That's why I made those cheat sheets, guys, on that Buy Me a Coffee page. Feel free to click on that, guys. It's down in the description, and it tries to help everybody kind of understand what's out there and what it has. Are they 100% accurate? That we don't know, but these are the ones that we got directly from the manufacturer's website, and that's why we keep them. We catalog them so we know if there's a version change, that whether it's the charging input or the output or the AC is better or the battery's high, then you can see the charging. I'll give you a prime example. So let's go with Pecron. Pecron has changed tons of systems, right? So the E600 LFP, we have the original version 1, and this is why these cheat sheets really come in handy. So on the original one, you can charge up to 400 watts. Now on version 2, it only allows you to charge up to 300 watts. So if you didn't know that there's a difference, because these companies do not tell you that there's different versions of these power stations, and that is frustrating, guys. When you see a power station, you go, I'm going to get that, and you find out you got an older version or a newer one, and you don't know which one you got, right? Because the firmware doesn't tell you sometimes too. The E2000 LFP had like 3 different versions. It's very confusing for new time buyers, and that's another reason we started this channel, is to help answer questions. All right, here's Muscleman here, and he is charging this bad boy into the cigarette lighter. Notice it's already at 100%, so there's no point to charge it, but he's just showing you that that's how another way you could charge it, through a 12-volt system, which is your car, or possibly, hopefully, let's check in the specs down below, hopefully a 24-volt system, which is a big rig or a big truck, or an oversized alternator, which you actually get more power and charge this bad boy faster. Okay, so we're going to look here. Nope, it says cards there. I got my answer. I didn't have to wait. So it says 12 volts at 10 amps, which is 120 watts respectively. In reality, with conversion loss and everything, you're probably going to see anywhere between 90 and 105 watts. That's a guess. That's an educated guess of what I've seen about our systems. It says state charge with versatile options, car charging on road trips, 600 watt AC for fast home charging, 240 watts for solar. Now you have to remember that the solar is a long time, so that would take you, if you had perfect sun, approximately 4 to 5 hours to charge this thing. That is what's known as an entire solar day. So just to give you a heads up, you got to get all the hours in that you can at 240 to get that full. I wish that was higher. I like to see, just an opinion, I like to see the solar input at least 50% of the battery ratio. If it's a 1 kilowatt system, I want to see 500 watts charging, or something close to that. That's what I like to see. I always kind of set my expectations or my boundaries of what I'm looking for, and that way I know what to expect when charging. If it was a 500 watt input max, then you could charge this bad boy in 2.5 hours, right? And then you could get something else done, or charge 2 of them if you had 2. Let's see the AC charging again here, and then this is basically talking about the same thing. You can go from the wall at either 3. Notice it's not charging, guys, but it's plugged in. I love these pictures. They're just so random. 600 watts on fast, and then slow charging is 300 watts, of course, so nothing new there. Here's your solar charging. Notice it says 240 watts, but it doesn't say the VOC, which is the #1 most important thing ever to a battery, of what I was taught, is you never, ever, ever go over the VOC, which is the voltage open circuit, or the open circuit voltage. People say it differently depending on what country you're in. You never ever want to go over that, because you will either start a fire, burn out your battery, or wreck your system, or a piece of your system. Because it can't take that voltage. Now the amps and the wattage is different, because there's kind of like a governor. You know, on a go-kart, you know, when you're a kid, you ride a go-kart. Well, you know, those motors can take you 30, 40, 50 miles an hour sometimes. Of course they can't have you do that on a go-kart track, so they have what's known as a governor, and they put that on the little on the engine part. I'm not a car guy, guys, but you put it on the little engine thing, so you can only pull that little gas lever so far, so you don't go 30, 40, 50 miles an hour right into a wall. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to see your kid go 50 miles an hour into a stack of tires. You know, so the amps and the wattage has what's known as a governor on most systems now, so that's good. But the VOC will destroy and can destroy a system, so please be careful of that. When I first started, I did overpower voltage-wise by mistake, because I forgot which string had a 24 volt input and a 48, and I had a 60 and I had an 80, and I accidentally, like any of us could do, it literally took 1 to 2 seconds, and it killed the entire system. I put the 48 volt system into a system that's only designed to take about 30 volts. I over voltages. This was a long time ago. We all make mistakes, and that's why I bring it to the attention. I'm not perfect, so anytime I make a mistake, I always talk about it so people can learn from my mistake. I lost $100 and some power station because I made a simple dumb mistake. It's so simple that it's easy to overlook. 4 strings, I should have labeled them. That was my mistake, but I learned from that. And sometimes you can learn a very valuable lesson by breaking stuff, unfortunately. And then here's your dual input here, 840, which they promised, which is from the solar panels. I like their solar panels, by the way. I like that all black look. I don't like, I'm a production guy. I don't like a traditional solar panel. It looks like something Grandpa had. I don't know. That's just me. I don't like that blue color. That big, how you can see the big grids and like these little cells right here. You can see them across the street. I don't like that. Let me just put a black panel on the wall. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody, you know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. I like that when it blends in. And a panel can sit on the side of your house and nobody would even know it. But if you got a big blue reflective thing sitting on your property, they go, is that a solar panel? Yeah, and then someone could steal it, so you got to watch out for that too. If they don't know what it is, they don't usually take it. I noticed that. Here they got a case. Does this come in a case? You can buy a case for this? I like it if they had a case. I wouldn't recommend, throwing that in like in a suitcase. It looks like a suitcase. I wouldn't recommend getting that in a suitcase, guys. One thing I always wish that these companies would do is come out with a real like in the music industry, we have cases for speakers and amps and mixers, and everything has a nice custom made case. I would pay good money for a very nice case that protects a power station when you travel. I would do that, but like I said, I could be different. A lot of people don't need that. I would love it because then your power station is protected. It doesn't get scratched up, and then of course it lasts longer that way. 20% smaller. Maybe this is a power station behind there. I don't know. It looks like a suitcase. I don't remember ever a power station having a weird handle like that, but I could be wrong. The handle looks like it's built into the system, and it looks like there's only one. I don't like that for a simple reason is, if this is 23 pounds, us older folks sometimes have trouble carrying heavier weight for a longer time. So if you can carry it with 2 hands, it's obviously much easier than carrying it with one on your shoulder, like Mr. Muscle Man here. You know what I mean? So I do like double handle systems like that. And that way you could take turns left hand, right hand, or you can carry them both at the same time, whatever you want to do. But okay, let's keep going here. It looks like the battery cells are traditional style cells, and the newer ones have those flat packs. If you guys remember the RC world, I am a huge part of it. I love RC stuff. They have those old flat packs, and then they tape them together, and then over time, they expand like that. But I did remember one drawback between these cells and flat packs, and a lot of people don't remember this or think of this. When you have cells that are round like this, notice that there's spaces in between the cells. Why that's good is because you can shove air in between the cells. Now what happens is that cools down the battery cells, right? So that's a plus. However, with battery packs, this amount of wasted space, this amount, means you can put more battery capacity. So it is a plus and a minus depending on what you need and what you want. So that's just, you know, something that I learned, and I always I always regurgitate everything I learned to help other people. Okay, it says reliable and long-lasting EV grade. Now, I don't know what traditional grades are, but I know EV grade is a little bit higher quality grade battery cells than traditional ones. I know that. I don't know the whole technology and the chemistry behind it exactly. I'm not a chemist. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a Sparky. So my knowledge of battery cells and inside the internal workings of a battery, I don't know. It's, to be a AA is the same as a AAA but smaller or bigger. You know what I mean? But here, built to last with EV grade quality. Okay, they said that already. The Exodus 1200 offers 3,500 charge cycles and a 10-year lifespan. Now, here's the weird thing, guys. I just want to put this out there here. 3,500 cycles is not 10 years. It is approximately 10 years, but it's less. If you take 3,500, wait, I missed one. Okay, if you take 3,500 and you divide that by 365 days in a year, right, you get 9.6 approximately years. It's not 10. Just to give you an idea. Chances are this will probably last longer than 10 years. And in reality, within the next year or two, you're probably going to buy another power station. This stuff is literally like candy to a kid. It's addicting. It really is. Look, I have 30 power stations. That's crazy. A year or two ago, if somebody said, you'd have a whole room full of power stations, I'd be like, oh, you're crazy. I wouldn't. I'm going to buy one. We have 30, guys. 30. I think 30. They're everywhere here. It's crazy. But the nice thing is we got power for days, so it's a plus. And then here's your lifespan. Okay, so let's keep going here. And then here's your system. Here's a close-up of the system now, so we get a little bit better output. Here's your 120 times 20 amps. I like that. Older power stations only went up to 15 amps, or they had only 110 volts. I am not a fan of 110 volt systems, especially if you have expensive stuff or things that you really value, because 110, it's much easier for that voltage sag to get under 110, which the item is usually designed to run at. So if you over voltage it a little bit, I think it's better. Now, you can damage it by overvolting it, but the United States stuff is designed to run on 110, and like 110 to 120 kind of things. So here's your USB. I love these ports. I think this is the eye-opener system. I think I would buy a system like this if I needed one for those two ports alone. That's just everyone's different, right? I like those, and other people, may not need that. Let's see here. Oh, Miss Ramblin Bob, I'm almost done. We got to go to work soon. Like I said, this stuff is addicting. I'm doing this right before I got to go to work, guys. Okay, so USB A's, these are 18 watt output. That is known as a quick charge 3, which helps. Notice that they're blue. If you think of laptops, they have that high-speed blue one on a laptop. That's kind of like this. It gives more power out, so you can, charge things a little bit faster. However, I would charge USB-C, but it's nice that you have at least the quick charge 3 rather than the old like quick charge 2, I think it's called, the 12 watt output. So I like that. So you have 4 high power outputs, 2 that are extremely high. This is fantastic. Like I said, this is the money of this system for me. Let's see here. I do like that there's a space underneath the bottom here, because I run my cables, and this is what we do. We run the cables. You see it on all our videos. If I were to plug something in here, I don't like it to hang where you could trip on it. So I take the cable, I put it in here, and I run it through this thing to the back of the system, so that way you can't trip on the cable. And that way the cable is plugged in the front where you can access it. However, the bulk of the cable goes behind the system where it's out of the way. I like that. That's just what I do with all my systems. Here's your 12 volt cigarette lighter output, 2 barrels. These are probably, I'm going to guess 5 amps, 5 amps to 12 volts, but I don't know until we get to the specs here, guys. Okay, and then we got car up. Oh, guys, it's right here. What am I doing? 12 volts at 10 amps. And then, see, I get so excited I jump ahead. And then here's your 5.5 millimeter. That's the outer ring now. It doesn't say what the inner ring is. It looks like it's a bigger one. Maybe a 25 millimeter input. You don't know till they tell you. And then it's actually 12 volts at 10 amps on the barrels. A lot of systems have 12 volts by 5 amps, and that's a big difference. Okay, so here's your screen. Like I said, it looks exactly to me like the Oupes Mega 2 or the Bluetti system. It looks literally the same. I do like that it has, why isn't it moving? Oh, okay. I like that it has this right here, the 60 hertz. Guys, if your system is on 50 hertz, change it. It's not good to run stuff on 50 hertz. It messes with the system and that stuff you plug in. And then your 120, and here's your pure sine wave logo. Your USBs will pop on when you click that button, and these are probably the other USBs. Hopefully they have 3 different buttons. I'm not sure. And then here's all your basic. So here's Bluetooth. Hopefully they have straight Bluetooth. That's a big thing. And then here's obviously your warning if you have a fault or a trip or something like that. Okay, here instant EPS, and here's this. I feel bad for folks like this, guys, that have to use these CPAP machines. Like I said, if you're going to use this, try to double the size of what you need so you have a backup. What if you sleep too long, right? What if you were to sleep 14 hours one day and you run out of power? It could be, you know, chances are you're not going to do that, but what if, right? What if? You want to always have a backup plan in life. I think it's common sense. Okay, and then here's your laptops here. And then I'll go through the specs. I know we're getting towards the bottom here, and then I got to go to work, guys. Here's your charging again. Here's your app. Very, very straightforward, simple on-off buttons. I like that. Don't get too technical. Just give me an app, give me one that works, and I'm good. Right? I like that. Let me know. Now, notice that this says right here 1,200 watts from the grid. That's incorrect, because remember, the grid is only up to 600 on here. So they should change this just so you have a good representation of real watts that you could bring in. You can't bring in 1,200 watts according to the specs of this thing. You can only bring up 600, and then 840 when you do 240 on the solar. So they really should, you know, cross this out and change it. And that's probably a simple typo. You know, that could be the app that they use on another system. That's possible. Okay, now here's the okay, so here's the specs. I'll go through these quick, and then I gotta go to work, guys. Capacity 992 watt hours, 1,200 watts of rated power on the AC inverter, 1,500 boost mode. We don't know what it is. It didn't say. It didn't say if the voltage drops or anything. We have to wait. Surge is 3,600. That is, guys, that is 3 times the amount of the rated power. That's big. Normally it's 50% to 100% more of this. This is 3 times, so that's a big, if that's true, that's awesome. 3 outputs, USB A2, that's the 18s. These are the 240s. Love it. This is the money, guys, right here. This is for me. Here's your 5521. So I was wrong. It is a 5.5 millimeter, and the inside, the pin is 2.1 millimeters, and that's let's see, there's 2 of them. I don't know if you can use them at the same time. It doesn't say, but you figure 120 watts and possibly 240. But I don't know if that whole side is limited to 120 output. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. It didn't say. Carport, same thing, 120 watts. You probably get about 90 to 105, somewhere in there. Car charging, here it is. It'll say this much, but remember, you lose on conversion and the wires and the, you know, all that stuff, heat. Here's the AC charging. We did that. UPS. Okay, so it didn't say it had UPS. I think that's very important. So it says EPS, and I think that's the one I didn't understand. Emergency power supply? Question mark? I don't know. But UPS stands for uninterruptible power supply. So maybe that's emergency power supply? I don't know. It didn't explain that, and I never heard that terminology before yet. Under 20 milliseconds, which is nice. Under 10 is really good of what I've seen. The app, yes. Weight 23.1 pounds, and then here's your size, 14.1 inches by 10.7 by 8.92 inches. So that's the entire system. And then what is this? This is a, oh, here you go, guys, a Exodus 1200 giveaway. So they're going to give a couple away. They're going to give, well, they're going to give 5 of these bad boys away. 5 panel. Oh, geez. Enter now, guys. Go there. It's probably free. You know what? Let's click the button and see what happens here. Okay, it's a gleam thing, which means you probably got to do these little tasks. You guys ever seen this thing? Yep, you got to do the task. So you got to, you got to visit here, you got to go there, whatever. And then, yep, so that's what it is. I don't like those. You guys can enter it if you want. All right, so that's it. That is the first look officially of the, on this channel anyway, of the Exodus 1200 Oupes, or Oupes. I call it Oupes. My dear Miss Rambling Bob, she calls it Oops a Daisy. So everyone's got a nickname for this stuff. But two days, 12 hours, 51 minutes, and about 30 seconds until this thing launches to where people can check it out, buy it, or do whatever they want to do. All right, guys, this is the end. Ramble on, be safe. I have to go to work. I'll see you guys next time here on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.